Hello! Oh, wait. Oh my god, I forgot about the bandage on my nose. Yeah, I completely forgot, firstly, that I did not have a hat on, which is completely, irresponsible of me, given this channel's kind of, like, image. And also, I have a bandage on my nose. You should have seen the other guy. The other guy being me, because I accidentally scratched myself somehow. Yeah, it's not the most it's not the best thing to admit, but you know, whatever. I think I might have scratched myself either in a nightmare or something. I'm just glad that I didn't scratch my eyes out, but I was like bleeding all over. Um, until just now, so I was like, I'll put a bandage on so I stop bleeding because the blood was constantly coming out. But that's not what you came here to see. You came here to see hexcrawling, presumably. I don't know if I'm gonna put on my. Yeah, why not? Let me just switch cameras there. Let's put my face down there. Okay, let's go. Alright, so I have created a party ahead of time. So this is in. Oh yeah, I should switch back. This is in response to Caverna Dulakis's challenge on YouTube, where he challenged me to do a solo RPG based on a series of prompts. So at first I was like, I'll make a video on that. And then I got really nervous for some reason because I haven't done solo RPGing for a while. And I was like, this is kind of stupid, me being nervous about this. I should probably just do it live. And therefore, even if I do it horribly and fail the challenge, it's out there. I can't do anything about it. Like, even if I massively fuck it up, it's live on YouTube for everybody to see. Hello, Ian. Welcome to the stream. God, that fucking bandage on my nose. I look like an anime character, except not nearly as cool. This is cool. I have a hard time trying to solve. Well, we'll see whether I have a difficult time today as well. But yeah, he actually, Caverna Dulakis, made a bunch of prompts for me to try to solo from. So I'll show them on the screen right now. I actually have them written down. So I've written down a bunch of notes on how I plan to approach the hex crawling. I'm gonna use basically none of this actually. I'm not gonna be using Mythic. I'm gonna be using primarily OD&D, and then let me show you the materials that I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna be using this, and then I'm gonna be using this, and that's basically it. I think I'm gonna use white box for the single saving throws, but that's about it. For the combat system, I'm gonna be using my own OD&D combat hack, which is Chaos Reigns. Wait, this is the old one. Ah shit, where's the new one? Oh damn it! I came prepared to this stream, guys. Give me a second. Where the hell is it? Oh my god. I mean, we can just use the old version. There's like minimal changes, I think. God damn it. Oh my god, I took out that version and I thought it was the newest version. Oh well, it's fine. This is the old version of Chaos Reigns. And we're gonna be using this, I guess. Disregard this part and disregard this part. But other than that, everything is the same, so we can use this, it's fine. You have White Box and also Delving Deeper. It is good. Yeah, those are really good. I like Delving Deeper a bit more because it goes into a bit more detail. But I like White Box for some of the stuff like the single saving throws. So, the objective that Caverna Dulakis kindly rolled up for us is defeat. The subject is known person, the theme is infested layer, and the complication is wilderness exploration. You probably can't see that super well. Hopefully you can, but I'm not sure if you can. Is that? So at first I was like, okay, this seems fairly box standard. Defeat a known person, infested layer, wilderness exploration. So it's basically like a hex crawl to a lair. You go in, you defeat a known person. That's what I thought at first. And I was like, I should make this a bit more interesting. So, god damn it, I should have brought out all the books. I'm gonna find this book because this one is actually important. Where is it? I better not knock over my entire streaming setup. Oh my god. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Holy shit. A bunch of stuff just dropped from... Oh god. Oh my... Oh no, everything is dropping. Give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. What just dropped? Oh, this is great. This is... Okay, good news. I found... Oh my god, what is dropping? Okay, I'm gonna have to switch cameras because I just literally dropped a bunch of books on the floor. I'm gonna have to move the camera. Oh no, those are new books. Are you in the States? No, I'm from Singapore. Oh my god. Damn it. This is captivating video content. Extremely captivating. Hopefully. Oh my god, that's terrible. Yeah, I found it. I found Chaos Brains. Explains the late streams. Yeah, time zones. Time zones suck. Yeah, I found it. I do need to find the dungeon dozen, which is somewhere around here. Here it is. I found it, everybody. I did it. Okay. I'm gonna hopefully not knock over everything. I will try my best. God damn it. Holy shit, this sucks. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, so switching back to the camera. Okay, there we go. So I was like reading through the dungeon dozen. And then I went to, I think, what page is it? 39. Actually, let's flip to a random page, because this book is batshit insane. Fluids in the dungeon well. The digestive juices of the well-shaped beast. Yeah, this is that kind of book. So, we're going to go to 39, and that's dungeon infestations. So, I was like, okay, it's an infested layer, right? Infested layer, we gotta have some dungeon infestations. So I didn't really roll on this, I chose from it. I chose necrophagic fungus. I'm gonna bring this up to the camera here. Necrophagic fungus consumes soft tissues, adheres to the skeleton for locomotion, keeps adding new skeletons to its mass until it becomes a vast centipede-like horror. Also, I actually prefer this, microscopic arcanophagic flora. Enters the lungs and eats spells. So we have some fungus that like acts as soft tissue and holds skeletons together, which is kind of fucked up. I like that. But we also have arcanophagic flora, which can enter the body and steal people's magical powers. I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I wrote down the themes of what we have here. The fungus, the lungs, the magic, the skeletons. And if we generate out anything maybe too generic, we'll just fall back on using this to add on to it. I also rolled up that we have to find elf in the forest. And they're a folk hero. And this was before I decided to go live. I was like, wait, I'm not recording this. I should probably record it. But I rolled up that we're supposed to find Gezera the elf in the forest, who is a folk hero, and we'll get money for it, and renown, and it's great. And in addition to that, we have to defeat some kind of weird fungus flora thing, probably controlled by an evil lich, because I think the amount of times that liches have turned up in my solo games is way too many, and probably says way too much about me. Okay, so that all being said, this is very messy. I hope you guys are okay with that. Let me introduce you to our heroes before we start proper. So I rolled up 2 second level characters and 2 first level characters. We have Sidan, the first level magic user. Very, very old guy, used to be a cultist. Fanir, the second level cleric who used to be a preacher, which kind of puts the two at odds. Second level, so they can actually do stuff. They can actually cure light wounds. At first level in OD&D, and I think in BX, you have to prove yourself to your god, so you don't really get any spells as a cleric at first level. We had Gadja, the second level fighter. They have plate mail and a greatsword. Paid a lot of money for that. I actually rolled up the cash we had. I rolled 8d6. I think I got 250 to start with, and then spent it all on stuff. I didn't get a horse or a mule, which might be bad, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, they used to be a barbarian. Cool. We have Durzal, who used to be an acrobat, and they're a fighter. So that is basically our party that is going to set out into the wilds and try to find this Gezera, who basically, the story that I rolled up was that Gezera had a map, and they wanted to go out into the wilderness. They wanted to find something, ancient relic, bring it back to the people. They never came back. So we're gonna set out and we're gonna find Gezera the elf. We're gonna, bring them back safely, hopefully. Another thing that I have prepped out is this map. So there's nothing special. I'll put a link to it in the description of the video after this stream has gone up. This is just a hex map, and I used a website called is one of Watabao's generators, Perilous Shores, I believe. I basically overlaid the map on top of overlaid the grid on top of the map. So I have this generic map. So that's cool. And the one thing that I did prep out quite a bit is this thing, which I kind of made from my notes. So if you can see here, I have a bunch of notes here, kind of like the mad scrawlings of a crazed lunatic. That's me. I was trying to figure out a easy, simple way to do hex crawling. So I tried out a few different whip methods. I tried using the BX method. I tried using, I think, I saw a video on hex crawling, and I tried to use a method where I figured out what encounter time it was, and then on that hex, I roll for the encounter, and it became a bit too fiddly for my taste. So I basically went back to the original 3 little brown books, and I used the procedure from there, which is a little bit different from the procedure in both Delving Deeper and in White Box. These two have slightly different methods for hex crawling, and Delving Deeper is a bit too complex. White Box is a bit too simple and also results in too many encounters and too many lost chances. So I modified a little bit how it's done, but I'm mostly sticking to the OD&D method of hex crawling, at least based on the Grey Harp compilation. If you have no idea what I'm saying, don't worry about it. Basically, OD&D is original Dungeons and Dragons. We're using it's like the first edition of it to come out, really, and there's a compilation of all the 3 little brown books, and I'm basically using the original rules from the original version of D&D. So the procedure that I have is firstly decide the direction. Based on the first hex, check if you're lost. So you have the lost chances here. If you're lost, move in a random direction, which I can get by rolling a d6. The nice thing about this is I just need to roll d6s. I don't need to roll anything else until I get to the content. So one hex can be readjusted. So let's say you can move 3 hexes in one day, right? If you get lost and then you roll that you're going to northeast instead of like south or something, you can correct one of those hexes. So you can adjust the direction slightly. Then the next day you can properly readjust. You cannot be lost in settled lands, which is 1 hex around villages and 3 hexes around cities. So I made it pretty simple. If you have a landmark or something, you can't get lost. And similarly, if you have villages or cities, you can't get lost. For each hex, so for every hex that you go into, you roll 2d6. So you check a feature, and then you check for a natural feature. So this is something I came up with myself. So this sheet is something that I made myself, and I'll also put a link to it in the description if I remember to. If I don't, somebody scream at me to do it. But I'll try to remember to put it in the description below. So you roll 2d6, and I have it so that you can see that there's lines here, and I wrote down the actual pages. What I find is that I like to vary up the sources in order to make different kinds of adventures and try out different generators. So I like having this template file ready so that I can actually modify what generators I'm going to use for different adventures. So as you can see, there's a 2 in 6 chance of getting ruins, magic, temple, settlement, keep. 1 is more appropriate to wilderness, 6 is more appropriate to settled areas. The reason for this is because you roll with a disadvantage in the forest, the swamp or jungle, and the desert. So you're more likely to get those things. In settled areas, you're more likely to get this thing. So that's how it works. I probably should have put it for mountains and hills as well. Yeah, I probably should. I'll just do that now. Okay. So, afterwards, you check a natural feature, and if you get a natural feature, you refer to page 16. So all these numbers are referring to the pages in oh my god, my books are gonna fall again. I'm gonna put this over here. In the D30 Sandbox Companion. So for example, if I get ruins, I'll just go to page 19. And page 19 is over here. And then I can generate out the ruins with some degree of like specificity, and I can get some amount of verisimilitude because they go to a lot of detail, which is nice. So I wanted to try that out today, see how it goes. You know, just seeing how things go. I'm not sure whether this will work out or not. Only one way to find out. So the last thing that you do at the end of the day is that based on the last hex of that day, you roll for encounter. So you don't roll for encounter on the hexes that you go through in the middle of the day. It's on the last hex that you end up on. And if you get an encounter, which you get from here, there's a 2 in 6 chance that there are actually 2 encounters interacting together. So you might get like a man being raided. You might get a merchant caravan being raided by a bunch of bandits. You might get a bunch of animals fighting, that kind of thing. And that's gonna be DD page 64. And that's gonna be over here. So basically I'm using these 2 books, so I'm just gonna set this up here. I have some notes here as well. So probably like put this here so that I have easy access to my character sheets. Okay, again, movement rates are per day via point system. 1 point can be brought over to the next day. So man on foot is 3, wagon and cart is 4, etc, etc. So if you're on foot, you can travel 3 planes in a day. However, you can only travel 1 woods in a day, but the next day you can bring 1 point over. So this is an idea that I got from a blog post about the movement rates and points for them. So I made it so that, for example, you're in the forest and you can only move 1 hex, but the next day you can move 2 forest hexes. So it kind of like evens out that way. And resting, so we'll have to keep track of our calendar. Unfortunately, etc, time records, etc. No proper campaign can exist without the strict keeping of time records, or something that some old guy said. Some old guy called Gygax. He said that, I think, maybe. But we'll probably have to keep a calendar, is what I'm saying. So, okay, let's start. So, firstly, where do we start from? I'm assuming some kind of settlement. Like Sidan, Fanir, Gaja, and Drizol, we've already figured out that they are in some kind of settlement. They've lost this elf called Gezera, and they are not sure where they've gone. They know the general location because of the map thing, but they don't know the exact location. So, I'm gonna say it's gonna be 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. And I'm gonna get out my dice, because you need dice to play a role-playing game, apparently. Yeah, let's just roll. Okay, we're starting out from the eastern region. I'm just gonna put a little settlement right over here. There we go. Okay, that's our settlement that we're starting out from. When I looked at this map, I was like, the southern part, the forest, seems kind of interesting, especially since we have arcanophagic flora and horrible skeleton fungus. So we're gonna put it around here, like around this area is where Gezera went to. We don't know exactly where. Once we get there, if we find a settlement, then we can see whether it links back. If not, that's fine. Bedtime for me, have fun. Have a good night's sleep, Catherine. Okay, so let's start. We have 20 rations to start with, which means we have 5 days worth of rations, which is not enough, so we might need to go foraging, which I haven't actually figured out yet, but we'll figure it out. This is more of a test run than anything, and also a way to kind of like push me to get back into solo RPGing, which I haven't done in a while. So, firstly, we decide a direction. We didn't buy any horses or mules or anything at all. So, what we're gonna have to do, unfortunately, is we have to go on foot. We can travel 3 plane hexes in a day on foot. Fording a river is gonna be tough. There's a river right there. So we're probably gonna have to go through the forest and then go through here. So what I'm thinking we're gonna be doing is we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. So that's the direction that we're gonna do. So based on the first hex, check for lost. We're starting from a settlement, so there's no chance of us getting lost where we are since we got a landmark. It's like you can't just walk out of your house and just immediately be lost. If you look behind you, the house is right there. So you can't get lost, so we're not gonna roll for that. However, we're gonna roll for each hex. So I'm also gonna cross out areas that we basically go to. So Sidan, Fanir, Gadja, and Durzal, our intrepid adventurers, start out on their trek towards the forest, the Terrorwood, where Gezera, the elf, has gone to reclaim a magical ancient artifact and has gone missing for quite some time. They're going to start off by heading south. That's the plan. And they're going to go into the first hex, and we'll see whether there's anything that happens. Blue is going to be first. Red is going to be second. We have to roll for whether there's a feature and a natural feature. So we're on plains right now. Actually, it's right outside, so it's settled. So we're unsettled right now. So we get a 1 to 2 chance of a feature and a 1 in 6 chance. Sorry, a 1 to 2 out of 6 chance of a feature and a 1 in 6 chance of a natural feature. So rolling that. That's gonna be 5 and 5. So there's nothing on the first hex. That's fine. So we're gonna keep going through these hexes here. Again, it's 1 hex around villages, 3 hexes around cities. I think we decided that this is gonna be a village and not a city. So we're just gonna keep going. Okay. So in the plains, it's actually quite rare to get a feature or a natural feature. So nothing on the second hex, and on the third hex, oh, we do get some kind of natural feature on the third hex, as we are settling in for the night, because that's the last hex that we can get to. We also have to roll for encounter. So before we do the encounter, let's actually roll up what the natural feature is. That's gonna be page 16. Page 16 of the D30 Sandbox Companion. Okay, here we go. Where's my D30? Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, let's roll. Plains. 12. That's gonna be a hillock or knoll. Hillock or knoll. It's a small hill. Okay, so we're able to actually get up onto a small hill and make camp there. I'm gonna say that that actually gives us an increased vantage point. So usually what I will do is at the end of the day I'll roll for an encounter. However, natural terrain and stuff like that do factor into it. So if we are on the top of the hill, it's going to be a bit harder for people to sneak up on us because we have a huge vantage point. I'm going to say that if we do get an encounter, there's a 50% chance it just doesn't happen. So we're going to roll for that. And we got a 5. So in any case, we didn't get an encounter. But we know now that there's a small little hill right there. is a good place to kind of like stop and rest, which is good. We're gonna use up not one of our rations, but 4 of our rations. So we're gonna go down to 16 here. That's fine. So no trouble yet. We're gonna start entering into the forest, and then we'll see basically what happens. So restarting again. Men on foot is 3 hex points. We're going into the forest at this point here. I think what we're gonna do is we're going to... Yeah, I think we're gonna go here, here, and then here. So that means that since this is like half forest, I'm gonna say that that's gonna be... I'm gonna say that like we can actually come into this area, and then we can go into this area, just because this is not fully forested terrain. So normally we'll only be able to enter 1 forested terrain, but that's like half forest, so... okay, so the direction is we're gonna go into 0908 on the 2nd day. And we'll write down the days somewhere. Like I said, we have to keep a calendar. Okay, let's keep a calendar. So the way I'm gonna do this is every 6 days we have to rest. So 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just gonna do it like this. So this is the 2nd day. On the 7th day, we're gonna have to rest. And I believe you roll encounters twice during that day, which I didn't write down there, but... So, the direction that we're headed is this direction, and... Oh my god, everything is falling over. I need to figure out a way to, like, not make everything fall over, but... Another time. We're gonna go into this hex here and this hex here. So I'm gonna consider this forested terrain. Firstly, do we get lost? We're starting from the plains though. So there's a 1 in 6 chance that we get lost. Let's see. We got a 2, which is a no. Okay. So we're gonna roll this 2 times for the forest. Oh my god! We got double 1s, snake eyes. Which means that, firstly, there's a feature of some kind. So disadvantage on... Oh, I miswrote this actually, I think. It's disadvantage on asterisk and advantage on double asterisks. So I have to change that in the document. But yeah. So this is actually supposed to be disadvantaged. Got a 1, which is ruins. So we find some ruins here. We haven't made our entire like exploration turn yet, which is the whole day. But halfway through we find some kind of ruins. We also find some kind of natural feature that is nestled with the ruins. So we're gonna find out what the natural feature is. I'm actually gonna put this book in here. We're gonna find out what the natural feature is. But let's see. Page 16. Natural feature. Okay, we are in the forest. So 14. A heavy canopy. Okay. So a heavy canopy basically hides a certain ruin of some sort. Okay, I'm gonna write this down so that we don't forget. This is in which hex? 0907, okay. 0907. Heavy canopy hides ruins. Okay. We'll need to generate out what those ruins actually are. So we're going to go to page 19. We're going to generate out some ruins. This might be interesting actually. We might not be interested in this immediately. We know that they're deeper into the forest, but this might give us a clue of some kind. So firstly, what kind of ruin is it? So 04, so that's tens. It says tens, but it is is this one. It's an altar. Okay, it's an altar. Interesting. We know that they were looking for a relic. 24. That's extremely vandalized. An extremely vandalized altar. Okay. Extremely vandalized altar of some kind is the ruins. What's the inhabitants? Are there any inhabitants? You know what? For this, I'm not sure. I think what we're gonna do is, it always gives you some kind of inhabitants that might be in there. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll for it and see what we get. We got 10, which is a nuisance of the undead. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so essentially, there are a bunch of undead skeletons, zombies, ghouls, etc. milling about this altar that's hidden under a heavy canopy. So the undead are around this altar. I think we want to actually approach it to find out what the vandalized details are, because that will probably give an extra detail as to where we can find Gezera. That said, I don't know if we want to fight undead. Firstly, what kind of undead is it? So they actually have ruined inhabitants by type and general level. So I'm just going to go with 1 to 3. It's gonna be skeletons. 4 to 5 is zombies, and 6 is ghouls. And there's gonna be we'll see how many of them there are based on the delving deeper stats. Ghouls. Great. Okay, how many ghouls do we encounter? Let's see. That's probably bad, actually. Good night. See you, L. Okay. Ghouls. Number appearing. 1 to 12. Fantastic. Alright, let's see. Okay, there's 6 ghouls. Alright. Okay, I don't think we can... Wait, no, we have a cleric. We can turn undead. Yeah, we might be able to do it, maybe. Let's look at the description for ghouls. I should probably write down their AC as well, just in case. AC of 7 and a HD of 2. Which is bad, because in this system, HD of 2 means that they can take 2 actions, or they can pool their attacks into 2 attacks into 1 attack, which is bad. Because if they do succeed in attacking us, they do double damage. So ghouls. Let's see here. Here we go. Ghouls are eaters of living and carrion flesh. Their attack rolls and morale checks are penalized by -2 in daylight, which it is, but the touch of these undead creatures causes paralysis for 1 turn in normal man types, except for elves who are immune. A man type slain by a ghoul will arise the following night as a ghoul. God damn it. Okay. We are some distance away from this. Actually, are we some distance away from it? I'm gonna say that we are. Because frankly we're dead. Actually, no, I'm not gonna say that we are. I'm gonna just let the dice determine that. Let's see whether they are surprised and whether we are surprised. Red is gonna be the monsters, blue is gonna be us. Okay, the monsters are surprised and we are not. So that's good news. That means that we are far enough away from the canopy that they're not able to see us, necessarily speaking, so we can just pass on by, or we can take on 6 ghouls. Before I take on 6 ghouls, I would like to know how the turn undead works. Because I haven't really used that much. Let's see, ghouls. Okay, roll 2. Oh my god. That's not gonna work. So, here we go. Basically, turning undead, if you roll a 2d6 at level 1, Wait, no, we are level 2, so that's good actually. You roll a 2d6 at level 2, you need an 8 or more in order to turn undead on one ghoul, I think. Yeah, on one ghoul. Fantastic. Can we sneak by these things? I really want to find out what's on that vandalized altar, because it obviously has something to do with our quest, since they were retrieving an ancient relic from the forest, vandalized altar. That definitely has to be something there. My question is, are these undead like milling about? Are they close to the altar? Are they close to the altar, I guess? Oh, that's an extreme no. So they're like around the canopy. They're not actually inside the canopy with the ruins itself. So somebody can go in and check it out. Is there anybody in my party who can do that? Let's see. So we have cultist, preacher, barbarian, acrobat. Okay, acrobat. Yeah, I'm gonna say that they can do it. So normally what I do in this kind of scenario is that if their background dictates that they can do it, and they have the time to do it, and they have the equipment to do it, then it's an automatic success. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some time and let Durzal try to essentially get this whatever's at the altar, or if there's anything at the altar or any details. That will incur two checks, right? First check is to see whether the ghoul even notices them. I believe in delving deeper, and in most things, well, at least in BX, is straight up like 1 in 6 chance if they're sneaking. So that's the first thing. So they have to roll that, but they also have to roll another die because they're using their time to carefully sneak around. So there might be another encounter that occurs. So if either of these, so if the first one comes up in a 1, the ghouls see Durzal. The ghouls do not see Durzal as he sneaks on up to the altar. Does anybody else come by while Durzal is taking his sweet time? Okay, they don't. Okay, good. So Durzal is able to sneak past the ghouls who are on the outside of the canopy. All of the rest of the party hangs back. They don't want everybody to die. So Durzal is able to see what's on the altar itself. Let's actually roll up a cult, because I think that this vandalization will give us some idea of what kind of cult this altar belonged to. So there's a cult generator right here. And I think this cult is probably the cult that is involved with Gezera's capture. I might be wrong about that, but where is the cult generation tables actually? Oh, here it is. I think it's here. Yeah, cult generator. Okay, let's generate out a cult. So the altar belongs to the conference. I'm gonna have to write this down. The conference of 5. The conference of the covenant. Covenant? Covenant? I'm gonna reroll that second one. The conference of desolation. Okay. So that is basically this conference of desolation. I'm not sure if this altar belongs to this cult or this cult vandalized the altar. We'll figure that out later, but we'll just generate a cult for now. They worship or follow, and we won't. The characters won't notice, but we will. The genie. A genie? It's a genie. They follow a genie. That doesn't sound very good for us. Follow genie. I'm gonna have to look up that. Their immediate control. 28. Terrorism. Fantastic. Terrorism. Makes sense why they will take a folk hero away from a town. And what's their strange cult practice that they do? 27. They talk to trees. Okay. Alright. Very cool. What's a genie? Let me look that up. What is this thing? Genie. Is it even in here? Yeah, I don't see it. I'm gonna search it on Google because thankfully I have the power of the internet. Genie. Oh, it's just a genie, like an actual genie. Or like, is it? No, it's a kind of spirit. Is a spirit mentioned in the Quran and believed by Muslims to inhabit the earth and influence mankind by appearing in the form of humans. But they are demons or spirits? Interesting. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah, I drew them up. I kind of like find that helps me figure out what they're gonna do. I can also visualize it a bit better. So basically, Durzal is able to find that there's some stuff at the altar. There is some stuff indicating that the altar is either vandalized by or belonging to this cult. Well, was it belonging to the cult? 5, so yes. So it was vandalized by probably the townspeople who are fed up with the cult's terrorism. Makes sense. So that already gives us a clue. My other question is there any form of treasure here? Because this is kind of like a guarded area, there's a bunch of ghouls. I'm gonna say that that's likely... Oh, fantastic, it's a no. There's no treasure to be found around here. Excellent. Okay, so there's no treasure, there's just a vandalized altar. Is there any kind of entrance into anything else? Because with all this stuff guarding it, there has to be, right? So I'm gonna say it's with advantage. So that's a yes and. So what happens is Durzal pushes the altar slightly and uncovers a trapdoor leading down into the earth. Now that's not something that we want to necessarily mess around with right now. But we might want to come back and look at it later on. So there's an altar, there's a secret door leading into a dungeon below. There's 6 ghouls around the canopy guarding it, and we were able to get in, find out what the altar was, get out. Actually, we're not sure if we are able to get out. I'm gonna say that requires one more roll to make sure that the ghouls do not actually hear Durzal as he's coming back. I've already made an encounter roll. I don't think I need to make another one, but I have to make one more roll to see whether they notice Durzal. Okay, so no, they're not able to. Good. So we find some kind of like heavy canopy and an altar around here. Something like that. Kind of like hiding away in the canopy. So that's interesting. We at least have some information on the cult. We wouldn't exactly know who they follow. Or would we? I think for the sake of like simplicity, we're just gonna say that the party now knows who they follow. So it was like inscribed on it or something. And so we're just gonna continue on. We have one more movement point for the day. So we're gonna roll to see whether there's anything else that we find that's interesting in... I believe we were trying to go here, then get to here so we can get to the plains. Yeah, okay. So we're supposed to go here. Yeah. So rolling on that. And we got a 4 and a 3. Sorry, a 3 and a 4. Which is absolutely nothing. However, we have to camp out, unfortunately, in the forest itself, which is always a bad idea. And we have to use up some rations. And we're gonna mark off a day. We already have the day marked off, actually. So 12. We're down to 12 rations. We might need to forage at some point. But now we have to check for encounters, and it's a 1 to 2 chance in the forest. Okay, so we're settling down a night to rest. And no encounters. Okay, thank God. So we're able to get through to here, found an altar defaced by villagers of some kind of like horrible cult. We found an entrance into a dungeon there as well. Not something we want to mess with right now, but at least we know it's there. We're gonna keep going this direction, and since we are coming from the forest, there's a 2 in 6 chance that we get lost on the next day. So I'm gonna mark off the day. We're on the 3rd day in. We're gonna check. Are we lost? Oh, fuck. Yeah, we're lost. Okay, what direction? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3. We can correct our course by 1 hex, as is said here. But, unfortunately for us, we don't have enough hex points to go over to do that. So we're just gonna go in further into the forest because we're lost, which is bad. Okay, so we're gonna go into the forest. We lose our way in the forest, and we're gonna go further in. Let's see whether there's anything. 2 and 4. So there's some kind of feature. Disadvantage roll. We find another ruins. Okay. We find another ruins. We got a 1 just now, and we got a 1 this time as well. What kind of ruins is it? There's no natural feature here, so it's just like in the middle of the forest we find some kind of feature. That's going to be another ruins. So we're gonna go to page 19. If it's another altar again, I'm gonna eat my hat. It's 28. So that's 30s because of how they wrote it. So that's gonna be a town. So there's gonna be a small, basically there's a small settlement in maybe a small village of some sort, a hamlet. Actually, this is on the edge of it, so maybe, and it's right next to a river. So I'm gonna just say it's a village. So 1009, we find some kind of village, but it's a ruins. So let's see here, 18. It's barely covered in vines and moldy and contaminated. Okay, interesting. So this is an abandoned village covered in vines, is moldy and contaminated. It probably contains some of the fungus that we talked about, the arcanophagic fungus. We'll figure that out later. For now, are there any inhabitants living inside it currently? Oh shit. It's overrun with magic. It's overrun with something magical, which actually plays directly into our original theme that we rolled up. The theme that we rolled up was flora that basically takes over your lungs and extracts out your magical energy. So I'm gonna say that this is that. So it's overrun with vines. So it's overrun with this flora that has magical powers. Okay, I'm gonna have to write this down. So that's gonna be 1009. We basically lost track of our goal today, and we were headed off in that direction, but we basically went there. So 1009 is gonna be village covered in vines, bracket arcanophagic flora. Okay, that's bad. That's really bad. Because none of our characters necessarily know about this. So what I'm gonna do is, does anyone have a chance of knowing something about it? I think the cultists might. So I'm gonna say it's a 2 in 6 chance that Sidan knows something about this. They have no clue. Are they gonna explore the village? Of course they are. Like, actually, I'm just gonna roll that as an advantage. Yeah, they're gonna explore the village. So they go into this village covered in vines of like multicolored flora. And they all have to make saving throws now. Against what? I don't know yet. I just know that they all have to make saving throws. Against spells, but what kind of spell I'm not sure. Shit. Okay. Let's start with actually, yeah, let's assemble a marching order. I think it's gonna be the fighters in front and the magic user and cleric behind. But I think all of them have to make a saving throw, so that's bad. That's really bad. Let's see what happens though. This is really entertaining, so it's fine if they all die. Magic user. Let's see. They have a saving throw of 15 plus 2 bonus on saving throws versus spells, so they have to hit a 13 or higher to not get affected. You got 18, so Sedan will not be affected by this. How about Fanir? Fanir needs to hit 15 or higher, which... yeah, 15 or higher, right? Oh, they got 18 as well. Okay, they're fine. Goodjaw has to pass 14 or higher, and Durzal has to pass a 14 or higher. Oh my god, I'm rolling 18s constantly. Okay, Durzal is the only one who falls prey to the magic of the Arcanophagic flora. What is the magic? Firstly, I think, let's see. It's gonna be some kind of magic user spell. Is it a first level spell or is it a second level spell? Right. So my question is 1 to 3 is a first level spell. 4 to 6 is a second level spell. It's a first level spell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're gonna roll a d12, and whatever it gets is what Durzal gets affected by. And we got 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got Gaze back, which is actually not gonna affect us, thankfully. But it is gonna let us know. So Gaze back is the magic user's eyes become mirrored, granting him immunity to dazzling and gaze attacks without impairing his sight. We could have had Durzal just fall asleep. We could have had Durzal be charmed by the flora, but instead it's just Gaze back. So it's basically like a spell that, like, everybody's aware now that this village is covered in magical flora. And Durzal is lucky enough that, like, the spell that was inflicted upon him was, like, not harmful in any way, shape, or form. They're probably gonna be able to find a clue in there. I'm gonna say that they can probably find a clue in there, but the problem is that they have to pass another saving throw, and I'm gonna roll another check for what they get in terms of the spell if they fail the saving throw. So I'm gonna send one person in there. Who do I send in there? Sedan has an easier chance of making it past the vines and not getting affected by the magic. But he's valuable to us. Durzal, I don't care about. We're gonna send Durzal in. So if they don't get a 14 or over, they're just gonna fall prey to another spell. Regardless of whether they do or not, if they're not dead, they will come back with some kind of information. Oh my god. I got 1. Okay, what does that mean in this case? I'm gonna cast 2 spells at him. I'm gonna have him fall prey to 2 spells, essentially. Okay, first spell. Is it first or second level spell? It's a second level spell. Okay, fantastic. 12. We got Witch Lock. I'll find out what that is later. And we got another second level spell, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Protection from missiles. Oh, that's actually okay. So protection from missiles is good. It actually means that Durzal is immune to missile fire for a little bit for 12 turns. That's fine. What is Witch Lock? As per a hold portal spell, except that witch lock lasts indefinitely and can be placed on anything that can be opened, including chests, drawers, wardrobes, flasks, books, and portals. A knock spell or the magic user who created the witch lock can bypass it without ending the spell, as can any other magic user at least 3 levels higher than the caster. Oh. We don't have our lantern anymore. Or our oil flasks. His backpack got closed. Forever. Unless we are gonna risk another saving throw to destroy this horrible vines, we don't have our inventory anymore. We don't have our... I'm gonna say that he has his arrows on him. Like, okay, let me just ask this as a question. For each of these things I'm gonna roll, like for this, and this, I'm gonna check. Is it on his person or is it in his backpack? So, firstly, the arrows. Is it in his backpack? The arrows are in his backpack. He no longer has the arrows. Just gonna cross that off. So his backpack is closed forever now. How about his dagger? His dagger is gone as well. How about his lantern? Okay, his lantern is fine. Actually, I'm gonna roll for the oil flask separately as well. Because I think, he might have that, like, ready to go to throw at a monster. So... okay, the oil flask and the lantern is fine. We have lost our dagger, we've lost our arrows. Because we have a backpack that will not open. Actually, can we rip it out, like, from underneath? Yeah, we can, right? Do we have anything that can do that? We have a greatsword. So we can probably rip it out from underneath. So, actually, that's fine. But right now, he doesn't have access to those things. He is able to come out, and then we can just, like, rip open his backpack and get the... presumably the rations as well. The dagger and the 20 arrows back. But I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna damage something inside. Is it gonna damage anything inside? I'm gonna say it's likely. Yeah, it's going to damage something. Either the arrows or the dagger. 1 to 3 is the arrows, 4 to 6 is the dagger. Okay, here's what happens. 12. We rip open the backpack that was magically sealed. As the result comes back and notices that basically he can't open his backpack. So we basically have to use a sword and slice through it from the bottom. And several of the things clatter out, but what happened was that the arrows were also slashed through by the sword, and we only have 8 arrows left. So we have the dagger still, but we've lost like 12 of our arrows. So that's great. Could have turned out a lot worse. Could have turned out a lot worse actually. So it's not so bad. Not so bad. All right, cool. Here's the unfortunate thing though. So 1 hex point goes over to the next day. However, number 1, we have to camp out in the forest tonight. Number 2, we're further away from our goal than previously. Firstly, let's check for an encounter. But the next day we can travel 2 of the forest tiles because 1 hex point goes over. So let's check for encounter. No encounter, we're good to go. If it was a 1 to 2, we will have gotten an encounter. Okay, we'll go a little bit more and then we'll end off the session for today. But again, decide the direction. So we're gonna go here and here. It's gonna go through the forest. Are we gonna get lost again? I hope not. Yeah, I hope not. Okay, we don't get lost. That's good. We're gonna go into a new hex. And we're gonna get 2 and 3, which is another feature. If it's another ruins again. It's 2, which is a ruins actually. Man, we got a lot of 1s and 2s. So there was something in 1009 which was the village covered in arcanophagic flora. Going into this hex, we find another ruins, and we do not find any kind of natural phenomenon. But let's see what it is this time. We're getting a lot of ruins. Then we have one more hex that we can travel to today after this, but let's see. So that's gonna be a 19, so it's a medium-sized castle. Okay. Okay. How decayed is it? It is moderately covered in vines. What's the inhabitants? 25. It's infested with lycanthropes. There's werewolves in here. This might actually be where Gezera is. There's a chance that this is where Gezera is. So there's a castle of some kind. Infested by the arcanophagic flora. I'm not even gonna roll for whether it is the arcanophagic flora. I think it's... Firstly, it's pretty obvious, and secondly, it's a lot more interesting if it is that. So we're gonna say it's a medium-sized tower. This is 0909. 0909. Medium castle covered in in vines again. Actually, I'm gonna give it a small chance that it's not arcanophagic flora, but I'm gonna roll that at a disadvantage. Is infested with and I'm gonna put a question mark here because we don't know. Is infested with lycanthropes, which is bad because lycanthropes can fuck you up. So like were-rats, werewolves, were-boars. Let's see, what are they? 1 to 3 is gonna be were-rats, 4 to 5 is gonna be werewolves, 6 is gonna be were-boars. Okay, it's were-rats. It's a bunch of were-rats living inside this castle. And it's covered with the vines. Shit. I think we have to explore this area. That said, I kind of want to know whether there's any magic to be found in the vines without having to risk somebody. But if I get Sidan to like rest for the night and remember read magic or something, or detect magic or something like that, there might be an encounter. And that might be even worse. If on the other hand I get Derzal to go in again, if I get Derzal to go in again, he has to pass another saving throw, and if he doesn't pass another saving throw, he'll get affected by a spell. If the vines indeed turn out to be arcanophagic flora. You know what? Derzal has been lucky so far. I don't think I want to risk the entire party, so we're gonna send Derzal in again. Firstly, are there any were-rats situated outside of the encampment? None at all. Okay, perfectly fine. He's gonna go up to the vines and examine them. Are they arcanophagic? Are they magic flora? Yes, they are. Okay, I'm gonna write this down, but he's gonna have to make a passing check of 14 or more. He got 7. Is it a first level spell that is affected by our second level spell? It's second level spell. Okay. I'm sure it won't be anything bad. I mean, so far we've been very lucky. Yeah, there's not that many like horrible things that can happen. I mean, like he might get hit by a web. Don't get me wrong, but what's the chances of that? 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got protection from missiles again. We're being very lucky. So Derzal actually gets blessed by the vines. Does that mean that they're gonna go in and check it out? They don't know that there's were-rats inside, so I'm gonna be fair about this. I'm gonna say there's a 50-50 chance they're gonna go in and check it out, because this might be the area that Gazera got lost in. It's not quite deep forest yet, but there might be a clue. No, they're not gonna check it out. Okay. Thankfully, because otherwise they will have gotten owned by were-rats. Alright. They get to make one more hex movement before they have to camp for the night, and we're gonna end it off there. But, oh yeah, and I forgot to mark off the day. Okay, they get one more hex movement. So let's see what they find or don't find. They find another feature. It's another 2, okay. It's another ruins. Maybe making it a disadvantage roll was a mistake. But the runes are all very different, so that's fine. But I'm surprised that every roll except for one has been a 2. So it's been either 1 or 2. Okay, let's see, 19. This is very fun though. I like it a lot. I usually have trouble running hex crawls, but this makes it a lot easier. So finally, they find a place to camp under. Some kind of ruins. What's this place like? It's a villa. Oh, they find a villa, okay. 23. What the fuck? It's covered in vines. Okay, it's extremely covered in vines. Okay. So we've rolled covered in vines 3 times. Which means that, this villa is probably infested by arcanophagic flora as well. So villa covered in vines. Question mark. Who's inside? 28. Is infested with molds. Thanks dude, signing off. Singapore time works well with New Zealand time. No problem, no problem. I'm gonna be ending off soon myself. Okay, it's infested with molds. That's pretty bad. Okay. Infested with molds. I think we're not gonna touch that. I think we're gonna leave it well alone. And we're gonna camp on the outside of this mansion, of this villa. This mansion. What a mansion. I'm gonna camp outside it. We're going nowhere near it. I think we've like tested our luck enough. We're gonna camp outside, and then the next session we'll see what happens. But before we end off, let's roll the final roll, which is an encounter check. So we are currently in the forest. There's a 2 in 6 chance, and there's no encounter for that day. We are currently on... Oh, we didn't deduct rations, but I've been keeping track of the days. So we have only 4 rations left, actually. Oh, we're gonna have to forage the next day. Oh well, that's something for another time. I think we're done for today. We are getting closer and closer to that area over there. And today was actually just primarily a test run to see if this kind of thing would work before I made an actual video. But this actually might be the video. Like, I think it like worked out pretty well. Like, we came across some really interesting things. We found 3 ruins all covered with vines. And the chances of it being covered with vines, by the way, is like a 1 in 10 chance. And we got 1 in 10 chance 3 times in a row. And they turned out to be arcanophagic flora. So, fantastic. The villa, we don't know if it's covered with arcanophagic flora. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna prep for Sidan for the next day. He's gonna prep a spell called... Actually, didn't he hunt as well, right? Yeah, this is the last of their worries. I think he's just gonna keep prepping sleep. But what he could have prepped is something like detect magic, and then you could tell whether it's the flora is like magical or not. But I think for now we'll call it a that. We'll let him have the sleep spell so that if they want to go foraging and they find something that they can hunt for, he can use it in case they get owned by a deer or something. But yeah, for now, that's the end of our session. We ended off starting day 5. So we made some progress today. We lost a bunch of arrows. We found out the cult that is probably has Gizera under lock and key. Maybe not, maybe yes. And yeah, I think this is a good stopping point. So thank you everybody for coming by. Let's see. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Private Ryan. And thank you, Partner Bren. I am going to sign off for now. Thank you all for watching. Bye.